What's good, YouTube? Cardfight King here. AQUA Life Baby. You already know how it is. Just walking home on a actually really beautiful day. It's like near 70 degrees and Maryland's about to drop to like 29, 30 tomorrow. So, enjoy while you can if you in Maryland or the DMV area. But besides the point, I wanted to do a fighters collection, not fighters collection, shit, Team Absolution Fighters Classic recap video. It was this past Saturday at Island Games. Bringing my trash can up here at Island Games. 55 players. 55 players, guys. Huge turnout for Team Absolution event. And you know what? It was a really good tournament. It was a very well-structured tournament. Well judged. There was a lot. There was players from everywhere there. Players from. It went from as south as maybe Atlanta. I think I talked to somebody there who was from Atlanta. Could be wrong. But, Atlanta, North Carolina, all the way up to even Canada. We had some Canadian players there. Actually, I'm going to keep my hat on. It's kind of chilly in my damn house. I don't know why. So, yeah, there was a lot of players there. As you guys know, my teammate, the infamous Black Steve, he won the whole thing. He was playing. Now I'm going to say this because people just generally turn shit off. When you say something they don't want to hear. But Black Steve won with a Zodiac Time Beast hybrid build of Gear Chronicles. His build is very unique. It's not something you see nowadays, because I told you guys that the ban list didn't do anything to gears, and it really didn't. There were 4 gears in top 8, but what it did do was cause some gear players, not all, but some gear players, to stray away from the more or less strict Mellum Advance, which is still a good deck. There was like 3 of those decks in top 8 besides Black Steve's deck. There was 3 of the, regular time, more or less heavy time leap focus build, not Zodiac Time Beast combo-ish build that Black Steve was playing. So, again, both decks were really strong today. Zodiac Time Beast might not build as much advantage, but it does have more combos you can definitely do, and definitely is a good counter to the Time Leap Mellum loop focus build of Gear Chronicles, for the fact that there's a play happening, when you go against them, they hetero hound something on you, and you have Chrono Dran G on the field. And Black Steve was not playing TikTok in it either. Where you have Chrono Dran G on the field, which allows you to bring out a card because something was brought out from your deck thanks to your opponent's hetero hound's ability. So and that play won him. That play won him a game in top 8 in the mirror match. But besides the point, like I said, his build was very different. It's a Zodiac Time Beast hybrid build. I will, try and get that deck profile out to you guys as fast as possible. But yeah, it was a really good tournament. As for your boy, as for me, I missed out on Top Cut. I went 3-3. It was 6 rounds, but I was playing Thavis. If you guys followed on the Facebook page, I was playing Thavis. Pretty much the day was not as good as I would hoped it would to be, and it got to a point where I left the game in the trigger's hands. I left the game into whether my opponent could get a certain amount of triggers, where I feel as if I played to the best of my ability with what I was given in hand, and it just didn't work out in a lot of matchups. But what it did reveal to me was that there are things that I do need to change in my Thavas build. There are things that definitely have to change. Some things I was a little too excited about. Some things I guess I was too lazy to really look at and change. So there is definitely some changes needed ongoing. But for some reason, I feel as if I've hit a I've hit a ceiling with Thavas that depending on what matchup it is and whatever else, you can only get oh so far. Gear Chronicles is a horrible matchup for us. Again, and Wailing Thavas is a card that has the potential to bail you out of a lot of different games. But again, if your opponent's at 4 damage and they block, preventing themselves from receiving that 5th damage, to where Wailing Thavas is at his maximum potential is when your opponent is at 5 damage. If your opponent is at 4 damage, you're leaving it up to you checking a critical trigger to put yourself in position to win the game. Otherwise, if your opponent is at 4 damage or less, then you're mostly playing Wailing Thavas to regain, or to regain board control mostly, or stunt your opponent's board. Kill a majority of their board and force them to fill it up either by hand or by superior calling abilities. That's where Wailing Thavas is generally for. Lambros is in the same way, but thanks to G Guardians and a lot of defensive combos and things like that, again, units like Hetero Hound, and you're going to see Hetero Hound because Gear players generally play a minimum of 2 Hetero Hound in their deck. Lambros' effectiveness has definitely taken a hit because of what the game has now. Especially going up against Night Rose. You look at Night Rose, they have a defensive combo, and I know that Night Rose has the new. I saw that today in class. They have this infinite loop that Night Roses has with, or not Night Rose, that Grand Blues have, but decks like Night Rose have the Skeleton Cannoneer. They can combo with the Ghosty. With the Ghosty G Guardian to bring it out, and the Night Rose will be bringing out popular units. So again, there are a lot of the popular decks have defensive combos that can ruin your setup. So that's pretty much basically what I'm trying to say. There are obviously ways that you could definitely break through. There are definitely things that we can definitely do to change all of this, but right now sometimes I feel as if we need better rearguard support in the deck. We need overall better main deck support. I think our strides are fine. I think that what we're lacking is better rearguard support because we're still playing competitively. We're still playing rearguards from last year, whenever we had the clan booster or whatever set supported us. Yeah, the clan booster. We're still playing rear guards from there because the set didn't really do us justice as far as rear guards go. That was more of like... Alright, okay, so I had to pause and think for myself there. But back to the Fighters Classic recap. Got a little off track. You guys know how I am sometimes. I'll just go over my little tournament report. Round 1, played against Brave Ultimile. I 2-0'd my opponent in that one. He was grade stuck in the last game. In the first game, I double crit him on 3. Round 2, I played against my good friend Julia. She was using Token Rambo. I won that matchup 2-0. She was grade stuck. I believe she was grade stuck in game 2. She was stuck at 0. And then in game 1, I was able to just pretty much guard effectively and was able to get a nice push off on the Lambros turn. But I did double crit. I think I did double crit her on my Lambros turn. So another double crit win there. And then round 3, I played against my boy. Edward Leon, you guys know him, Edward Van Mans. Played against him round 3. He was playing Gear Chronicles, the Mellum Time Leap build, and pretty much game 1. Game one, he double crit me at 3, and I lost. And then game two was really back and forth between us, but I double crit. He was at 3 damage. I was on whaling because I wanted to erase his back row of he had Mellum, he had the cat stand trigger and something else. I wanted to get rid of his back row. So I went to Wailing Thowis. I hit a double crit on Wailing Thowis, but then he hit a heal trigger on 6, and then his attack, he had like 1 crit trigger left in his deck, but I had to take the Vanguard attack. I got a heal on 6, but since he checked a critical trigger, I had to take the extra damage, so I ended up losing there 0-2. And then I went and played and then round 4 I played against what did I play against round 4? Oh yeah. So round 4 I played against Messiahs. I don't think he was using the freeze rate Messiah build, but I was playing against Messiahs. I won 2-0 against Messiahs. Pretty much game one, he really couldn't get too much started. I was able to push him. We played the grade 2 game a bit because I was stuck at grade 2, but I was able to rewrite a grade 2 and prevent him from using Sea Breeze and whatnot. But I was able to push him to 5 damage, and then he did ride into grade 3 first, I guess, because he needed to. But then I rode in when I rode into my grade 3 Thavis that I drew. I went into Commander Thavis, and I had enough offense on the board from the early calls to push for game on my Commander Thavis turn. And then game two, pretty much I had to survive until I saw an opening and was able to explode through. He had my board locked pretty much the majority of the game. I didn't. I damaged a Melania. I damaged like a Melania. I had to ride one, and I didn't see my 3rd Melania at all that game. But pretty much, he had my board locked. He did double big crunch me and everything. But against that matchup, guys, pretty much what I did was I tried to guard as effectively as I could. He did keep a consistent 14k column of Sacrifice Messiah, which definitely helped me because I can easy 5k guard that. And if I did hit a trigger on damage, it would nullify that column unless you put a trigger on there, pushing it to 19. But I pretty much was able to guard effectively, keep my damage low. I held on to my crit triggers for any unit, either Flagellate Messiah or Amnesty Messiah. He would go into those units to apply a crit trigger, when they have extra crits. So I no guarded what didn't have extra crits, and I perfect guarded what did have crits. Again, so like I said, I was able to keep my damage low, and Commander Thavis, I used up all of him, obviously, to definitely pressure as best as I can, but what happened was towards the end of the game, my last turn, one of my last 2 turns, I rode Skiros over Thavis, and because one of my rearguard columns was unlocking, and I wanted to keep, because one column was Omega locked, the other column was unlocking. I wanted to keep my front row free, especially because I drove check in Adelaide the turn before. I drove check in Adelaide the turn before, and I just held on, and I had to hold on to Adelaide. So I waited for that to happen, and then I strode into Wailing. My opponent was at 5 damage. I was able to stride into Wailing Thavis, drop Adelaide, so I can get at least the minimum 2 required battles for Wailing Thavis' ability, as well as I had the crit trigger behind him, and my opponent, I think he misguarded because he, I guess he didn't know Wailing Thavis, restricts grade 1s, so I was able to do that, and I was able to win, on Wailing Thavis from that, just playing the waiting game, whatnot, strode into Sea Breeze, strode into a vanilla Lambros that wasn't going to do anything, just so I could stride to get, my triple drive off. And then the next round I played against another teammate of mine, Nick. He was playing Luard Shadows. I think Luard's is a disgusting deck. I think it's a deck that people definitely need to watch out for. The fact that they have the ability to stride pretty much for free, as well as apply pressure and build advantage and keep advantage. They can't keep advantage in their hand, kind of like Pale Moons do in a sense, but they do it enough. And Shadow Paladins have Diablo and things like that, so you always got to be aware of that. But that deck is pretty nasty. I got 2-0'd by that. Game 1 went kind of back and forth, but I left it up to I needed to hit a crit trigger because he was at 4 damage in order to win, and I needed him not to hit a crit. I needed him not to hit a crit trigger, or not even. And I needed him not to break my 2 to pass, which he did break my 2 to pass on my Vanguard attack. So I wasn't able to survive that. Then my deck just completely fell apart, bricked on me. I was great stuck at 0. And I couldn't recover from that. And then the final round for me didn't matter because everybody who was in top 8 or whatever, the top tables, took an ID, and since they ID'd, they kind of secured their spots in top or whatever. So my last round didn't really matter. I didn't really care. I was pissed, but I didn't really care. So I ended up I lost to Victor Novagrapples. We went to game 3. I mean, the first stride for Victor is just disgusting. If they get their rear guards and if they're hitting triggers and sacking you, which was happening to me, then there's nothing much you can do from a Sazanda standing like three times in a turn, So, it is what it is. But that was it. Pretty disappointed. Started off hot, cooled down afterwards. There's some things that need to change. That's what I'm saying. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, shout-outs to Infamous Black Steve for winning the Team Absolution Fires Classic Tournament. Again, shout-outs to Team Absolution. Great people. Braxton, you my boy. Jose, stop doing JoJo things. Really great team, good guys, good structured tournament, and looking forward to that one. And hopefully to see them and anybody else watching the video at the next DMV Dynasty Cup. It's going to be the 2 vs. 2 championship on March 11th at Island Games at 1 p.m. All right, see you there.